Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Nguyen from Hanoi, and now the headlines as usual. President Phuc receives Foreign Minister of the Republic of Korea. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính holds phone talks with Australian counterpart. And later on, Vietnam OECD High-Level Business Forum opens. President Nguyen hosted a reception for Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Korea Park on October 18th. Lauding the Republic of Korea's efforts in boosting the bilateral cooperation, President Nguyen said, in the face of complex developments of the world situation, the two countries have maintained their close cooperation. He stressed that economic cooperation remains a pillar of the bilateral ties and suggested the two sides better utilize the side trade agreements to raise the bilateral trade to $100 billion in 2023 and $150 billion by 2030. The state leader also expressed his hope that the Republic of Korea will provide more official development assistance for Vietnam with a larger scale. For his part, the Korean minister expressed his sympathy with Vietnamese people over the losses caused by recent floods. He believed that with the obtained achievements, Vietnam would become an upper middle-income country with modern industry by 2030. The same day, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính received Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Korea Park. Expressing his delight over the robust development of the Vietnam Republic of Korea ties in the past 3 decades, Prime Minister Chính said the two nations need to maintain exchanges of high-level delegations and promote effective collaboration across various fields. He asked both sides to work closely to increase two-way trade to $100 billion by 2023 and $150 billion by 2030, while enhancing cooperation in digital transformation, green transition, and circular economy. Park, for his part, affirmed the Republic of Korea sees Vietnam as a key partner, not only in its ASEAN policy, but also in its Indo-Pacific strategy. He took the occasion to thank the Vietnamese government for supporting the Korean people community in Vietnam, as well as helping remove bottlenecks for Korean firms who led investment in the host nation. At the event, the two sides also discussed issues of mutual concern, including the EC issue. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính held phone talks with his Australian counterpart, Anthony Albanese, on October 18th. During the talks, the two sides discussed measures to strengthen bilateral ties, especially in economics, trade, and investment. Prime Minister Chính congratulated outstanding achievements the Australian government has gained over the past time. For his part, Prime Minister Albanese expressed his sound sentiments with the country and the people of Vietnam. The Australian government leader affirmed that the ties with Vietnam is always important for Australia. He also congratulated Vietnam for just being elected to the United Nations Human Rights Council. The two leaders praised the efforts in maintaining high-level visits and delegation exchanges, including the upcoming official visit to Australia by Vietnamese National Assembly Chairman Nguyen. On this occasion, Prime Minister Chính invited Prime Minister Albanese to visit Vietnam. The latter said he will arrange time for the visit. On the occasion, the two sides celebrate the 15th anniversary of their diplomatic relations in 2023. Permanent member of the party's Central Committee Secretariat Robin Tung is paying an official visit to Cambodia on October 17 to 19. On October the 18th, Tung had meetings with Cambodia leaders and officials, including Prime Minister Hun Sen, President of the National Assembly Heng Samrin, and President of the Cambodia-Vietnam Friendship Association Men Saman. Both sides agreed to boost economic, trade, and investment collaboration, especially connecting the two economies, strengthening coordination in national defense security. The Vietnamese official affirmed that Vietnam treasures the solidarity and mutual support between the two parties and countries. He asked the Cambodian leaders to create favorable conditions for the Vietnamese community and businesses operating in Cambodia and coordinate with Vietnam in managing and building common border peace and development. the Cambodian leaders pledged to, together with Vietnam, protect, foster, and pass on the fine bilateral relationship between the two countries to later generations. Head of the party's Central Committee's Commission for Information and Education, Nguyen paid a working visit to Australia from October 15 to 17. During the visit, the Vietnamese delegation had working sessions with representatives of the Australian Parliament, the Social Democratic Party of Austria, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization, and the International Atomic Energy Agency. During the working sessions with the Austrian officials, he affirmed that Vietnam wants to deepen the Vietnam-Austria ties in particular and Vietnam-European relations in general. The Austrian officials and representatives of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization and the International Atomic Energy Agency highly evaluated the delegation's working visit. They also highlighted the fruitful development of the ties between the two sides. In his meeting with representatives of the Vietnamese embassy and the Vietnamese community in Austria, he affirmed that the overseas Vietnamese intellectual community is an integral part of the intellectual community in the home country, expressing his hope that it will continue to contribute to the homeland's development. OECD Vietnam High-Level Economic Forum was organized in Hanoi on October 18th as part of the OECD-run Southeast Asia Regional Program. The forum gathered many economists and representatives from the international organizations, as well as domestic and foreign businesses. Addressing the event, Minister of Planning and Investment Nguyen said Vietnam is recovering strongly from the COVID-19 pandemic amid complicated economic and geopolitical developments in the world. The minister said he hopes participants will give ideas on economic management and reform, corporate governance and state-owned enterprises, and the attraction of high-quality FDI amid the country's growth and digital transformation period. OECD Secretary General Matthias Coman recognized considerable social progress of Vietnam in the past 3 decades. He emphasized that the experience and expertise of OECD can help Vietnam overcome the challenges and seize the opportunities. Following the forum, a business roundtable on production and renewable energy was held. After over 5 years of negotiations, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has officially licensed the import of fresh pomelo from Vietnam.
Pomelo is the 7th fresh fruit of Vietnam to be licensed to enter the U.S. market following mango, longan, lychee, dragon fruit, rambutan, and star apple. The U.S. has great demand for fruit, up to 12 million tons each year. Its domestic production has matched 70% of the demand, while the remaining 30%, equivalent to 3.6 million tons, is imported. Meanwhile, Vietnam is home to 105,400 hectares of land under pomelo with diverse varieties, generating nearly 905,000 tons of fruit. The Mekong Delta alone houses about 32,000 hectares with an output of some 369,000 tons. This creates considerable room and a great opportunity for Vietnamese fruits, including pomelo, to access the U.S. market. To export pomelo to the U.S., the Plant Protection Department will work with relevant parties to carry out concerted measures, especially training farmers and exporting companies in the U.S. import requirements. It will also maintain the granting of production unit costs and strictly monitor pest contamination in fruit. All pomelo batches to be shipped to the U.S. will be irradiated at the U.S. recognized irradiation establishments under the supervision of the U.S. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service and the Plant Protection Department.
Catfish exports to the ASEAN countries have been rising sharply, and this market is forecast to surpass the European Union in terms of catfish imports from Vietnam in the near future.
According to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers, catfish exports to ASEAN countries were estimated at over $152 million in the first 9 months of 2022, accounting for nearly 8% of the total. Thanks to strong and continuous growth in recent years, shipments to ASEAN currently approximate those to the EU. The Philippines, Thailand, and Singapore are the biggest ASEAN importers of Vietnamese trophies at present. Exports to the Philippines increased fivefold in September, contributing a jump of 92% to exceed $25 million in 9 months, equivalent to 1.3% of total trophy exports. Other ASEAN members like Cambodia, Indonesia, and Laos are also increasing imports of Vietnamese trophies, with exports to those destinations growing by 3 to 23-fold from the same period last year.
The Ho Chi Minh Museum and the National Museum of History are holding an exhibition entitled HP's Memorabilia, a story, introducing original and unique artifacts associated with stories about President Ho Chi Minh. This exhibition displays a collection of gifts to Uncle Ho from 1945 to 1969. Unique and original artifacts tell visitors touching stories about Uncle Ho that few people know. These are stories about a burst of Uncle Ho made by artist Wu Cao Dam in 1946 when Uncle Ho visited France. This pencil sketch of Nguyen Ai Quoc, a name Uncle Ho adopted by Swedish artist Eric Johansson, was painted in 1924 when he met him in Moscow, and it still has his signature in Chinese and Vietnamese. There is an embroidered image of one pillar pagoda presented by President Ho Chi Minh to lawyer Frank Losby in 1960. Losby was a progressive British lawyer who successfully defended the late president in the Nguyen Ai Quoc case in Hong Kong from 1931 to 1933.
In 1960, President Ho Chi Minh invited Frank Losby's family to visit Vietnam. He gave him an embroidered image of one pillar pagoda. Through this gift, we heard stories about the time when the Losby family came to Vietnam and were welcomed by Uncle Ho, and how the foreigners felt about him.
And especially it is very, very important this year because we are celebrating 50 years of our bilateral relations. And the foundation was laid at that time when President Ho Chi Minh visited India. So, and I'm so emotional about it, the photos and the kind of reception he has got here. And we have many photos of his visit to India in the embassy premises also. So I'm thankful to Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum for inviting here today. And we are always a big fan of President Ho Chi Minh, and he is the most famous person in India.
The collection includes about 200 artifacts and documents from people in Vietnam, overseas Vietnamese, and international friends that were sent to President Ho Chi Minh, as well as gifts from the late president given to friends and others. That has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.